Good morning. Welcome to May 2nd, I believe. Memory serves me well enough. It's almost 7 or 6:35. I wanted to do part 3 of my review of Ingmar Bergman's Cries and Whispers, number 5 on my top favorite films. And this I'm going to do the character of Anna. Uh, I was thinking about when I was going to do the character analysis that for some reason I didn't think of doing a character analysis of Agnes, uh, who's the character dying in Cries and Whispers, and I thought, I wonder why I left her off. And I guess a couple of things. One is that we don't know much about her in the film. All we really know is that she's dying of cancer. There's one scene that alludes to her relationship with her mother being strained, but that comes on early in the film. But she does end the film uh, with a memory that Anna reads from her diary, so I can include it here. But I guess if I feel the need to do a character analysis of her, I'll do it after I do this one of Anna. But I think there's not too much there. But with the character of Anna, the housekeeper in Cries and Whispers, who is probably of all of them is my favorite character of the four. And I say that because not being one of the sisters and not having anything to do, I think, with being a housekeeper either, is that she's very much Mother Earth. She is. I think I've talked about in previous previews that she had lost a child um, when she was a mother, and her child must have been maybe around 6 or 7. It seems maybe a little bit older. We never find out what she died of. But like I said before, Anna had experienced grief and loss and knew what to expect with Agnes dying, whereas the other two sisters, Karen and Maria, I think were not prepared for that, even though I assume the mother of the sisters had passed away herself, something else that was never talked about to the best of my knowledge. Um, but with Anna, we get a character in Bergman's casting of her. I don't know her name, by the way. I should have looked it up, actress wise. But she's very robust looking. She's very husky, I guess. Why not? I was gonna say that's not really a woman term, but she's very. That's why I call her Mother Earth. She's sort of very rounded, a little heavy set, especially compared to the other sisters who all seem very thin and you know, uh, or just normal body types. But what I love, like I said, what I love about this character, that she seems to be the one most grounded of all of them, grounded in reality, grounded in being able to be a nurturer, being able to be a support, especially to Agnes. I think, according to them, the sisters, she had taken care of her for, they said 26 years. So I don't know if that's how long she struggled with this cancer. I couldn't imagine. Maybe so. Um, because I know when the priest does the funeral for her, he talks about her having suffered so much agony. So maybe she, and that's interesting. I use the word agony because her name is Agnes. And but obviously, whatever she went through, Anna was right by her side, and Anna was the one that was able to provide the nurturing that Agnes needed and the loving care. And and she actually is one of the characters uh, that Bergman chooses to do the storyline with, where he puts the close up of the character's face, and then it fades to red, and then we get a story. And I think it happens with her right before she uh, it goes into that dream sequence where Agnes has already died, and yet we hear her voice talking. We never see her talking, but we hear her voice from the bedroom, and the other sisters are called into the room. And I think I mentioned how Karen went in there but would not touch her, would not. have anything to do with her, whereas Maria did, and then Maria got sort of pulled down to almost want to kiss her, and um, and after that was done, Anna came back. Uh, she called the sisters, by the way, individually into the room as Agnes asked her, "I want to see Karen. I want to see Maria." So it was Anna who was doing the calling, which is very godlike, I think. Um, in Bergman's choice of her being sort of like an angel, calling the sisters in. So when the sisters could not uh, do what Agnes was asking her, and I remember specifically Karen saying, "I won't partake in this morbidity. I won't partake in this. This is disgusting." And then Maria even says, "I have a child to think of. I have a child to think of." Using that as an excuse um, not to ask what Agnes was asking of her, which really what was Agnes asking of them. And I think she wanted to be held and wanted to be loved by them because she didn't feel that and felt like she couldn't pass on without that. So when both sisters would not uh, uh, accept the invitation, Anna stood at the door and she said, "I'll take care of her." And that's when they argued back, like, "I will be in there," or whatever. She said, "I'll take care of her." And so then she closes the door, and the next image we get, which is I did borrow in inking, and that's the Pieta pose. That's the pose of Mary holding Jesus, in where Jesus is sort of lying across her lap. And I borrowed that pose because that's an image, that's a beautiful image, one of the many I've said before in Cries and Whispers. And the picture is I'll try to post a picture from the film under this review. But I know I borrowed that for my last act, one act play in my collection of six one act plays in Ian Jean. And it's a beautiful pose, and it's very reminiscent of Bergman letting us know that of all of the characters in the film, that Anna was really like sort of like the Mary uh, the of 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 the film, in that she was that loving, nurturing, uh, very godlike type. And she actually is the only one too that Bergman specifically shows her praying in the morning. And in her prayer, she thanks God for the day, and um, and for waking up cheerful. And then she also says a special prayer for her daughter, that to take care of her, that now that God has taken her into His kingdom. And and at the very end of the film, when Agnes has passed on, in reality wise, and all the husbands the two sisters meet, and the sisters, they tell Agnes, I mean, they tell Anna that she is can stay on the manor for a couple of months. I mean, for a month, and then she obviously has to find some other place to become a housekeeper or whatever she pursues. But they ask her that they had promised that she could have a memento of Agnes's, and I just love this scene because one of the husband of Karen, the one that's real cold, says, actually, when they bring up that she could have one memento, and he was like, "Why was that promised?" And they were like, "Well, we promised you would have something." And he said, "Well, I hate that kind of spontaneity, but we can't renege on it now." So they call her in there and they tell her that she could have one memento of Agnes's if she wanted it. And I love this. Anna looks at the screen, or looks at the characters, and she says, "I want nothing." And I can't tell you how many times the word nothing comes up in this film. It's in many Bergman films. And like I said, the name of my play is Ienting, which is Swedish for nothing. It's a word that I won't say is my favorite word, but it's a word that resonates with me. I use it all the time in my writing. Um, and and it's one of those dichotomous words, because I think nothing for us implies there's nothing. There's no, there's nothing. But it's almost, I don't want to go there because I feel like I need a separate video to talk about. Maybe I don't even know what I'm saying. But I know that when I ended ENT, not to give too much away, that the character talks at the very end, finally uses the word nothing, ENT, only to talk back and say that it's not ENT. There is something. There is something. But Bergman is a very profound and very thought provoking director who understands uh, and accepts, much like I do, that there are opposites that we hold and that I think we're required to hold. Joy and happiness, nothing and something. Um, you know, I mean, we live in a world where, at least earthly wise, things are hot and cold, uh, good and bad. You know, we have those those boxes, those labels. But if we go beyond the material world of the earthly plane and we look at the spiritual thing, we have God and we have the devil. We have the nine fruits of the spirit, and then we have the opposite of the nine fruits of the spirit. So everything has this opposing quality to it, and I think that's very spiritual. And Bergman does a great job of always doing that. And going back to what Anna was asked about keeping a memento, she responded, "I want nothing." But at the very end of the film, she actually has the diary, and I think that was the one thing that they said that Agnes wanted Anna to have was her diary. She didn't want Maria to have it. She didn't want Karen to have it. She wanted. Hold up, Tess, Tess. Need to go outside, sweetheart? Can you stay right here for a second? She wanted uh Agnes wanted her specifically to have her diary, but she tells the family, "I want nothing." But at the very end, she opens up the diary, so she obviously got it. And not only she stole it, I think she took it because Agnes and her had an agreement that she would take it. I think her saying no to them was almost as a way of saying, "I want nothing from y'all." Um, and also, that's the thing I love so much about Anna. Of all the characters in the play, she's the most humble, or she is the only humble and meek one, which is very spiritual, obviously. Um, and and it makes for her being so readily available to be a nurturer and to be meek in her disposition. Um, but at the very end of the film, she opens up the diary and she reads specifically of an entry in the diary that Agnes had written about how one day all the sisters and Anna were out in the yard of the manor, and they all had their little umbrellas. It was very beautiful, and they were all in white, and they were just walking all peacefully together. And then they saw the swing set that they used to swing in as children. They run toward the swing set, and here's a picture of the sisters. And I think Maria and Colin are sitting on one end of the swing. It's one of those double swings, and Agnes is sitting on the other side, and the camera is on her face. And the narration is her narration, and she talks about this closeness that she is feeling in this moment in this on the swing set with her sisters. And then she proceeds to talk about how life has given her so much. And God, I wish I could remember the last line because, like I said, it's very rare that Bergman or any of the films that I seem to like end on a positive note. But this specific film of Cries and Whispers ends where she says something to the effect of like that I have my life, which I'm grateful for, and that's how the film ends. And Anna, by the way, is pushing them on the swing, which is once again her in servitude, which is another great quality that she displays that the other sisters seem to lack. So Anna is really my favorite character in Cries and Whispers, and yet she's not one of the family members. And yet, if you were to talk to Agnes and ask her who she's closest to, she would say Anna, simply because of the way that Anna was able to be the one to nurture her and to reach her. and it's a beautiful performance. I won't say it's a beautiful performance, and I don't know the actress's name, but her character, ooh, written into Cries and Whispers, is very, very important to have her there, and I'm grateful that Bergman made the film and created that character, because that character of Anna is very, very much. Oh God, I can't imagine the movie without her. She has to be in there. Uh, and if she hadn't been there, just think about how much more agonizing and anguishing and languishing Agnes would have been to have to go through what she went through. Some horrible moments of her struggling with the pain of her cancer. If Anna was not there to be her angel. So that's my character analysis of Anna. And like I said, I'll either go to the next one, which I might explore Agnes a little bit further. I might have to look a little bit more in detail at the film and think about if I have enough to go on a video. But if not, it'll be a final review next of just what the whole film and what I've talked about the film, and then move on to my sixth film, which by the way I don't even know what it is. I was thinking about that the other night because I know I wrote out the top 10, but I know I posted my top 5, and those are my top 5. I enjoy these reviews. I don't know if anybody watches them. I don't think they do, but I enjoy reviewing them. So, anyway, have a blessed day. I had a bad night. My brace is really starting to get to me. It's been a month now that it's been on, and on May 8th, I get my stitches out, and he's supposed to fit me with a brace that's going to be more where I can bend my leg or start to be able to bend my leg, my knee, I'm sorry, at my leg at my knee joint. So my leg can become more flexible because it's been in this complete straight iron board complex, as I mentioned in the previous review, where that I can't bend the knee. So anyway, thank you for listening to this review. Have a wonderful day. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us be glad and be cheerful in it, and rejoice in His word, and rejoice in His love and compassion and mercy so freely given to us, so that we can give it freely to others. And I love you and I treasure you, and thank you for listening to this review. And have a blessed day and be safe out there. And just love, and love some more, even when you feel like you don't have more to give. Amen. God bless you.